this industry is about crafting visual experiences on cinema screens, on television screens, on video gaming consoles, on phones, on iPads, and so on. And in order to do this, we have actually built up in Karnataka India's most prominent resources by way of talent, by way of production houses, the quality of projects that we are beginning to work on in the last 3 to 4 years. And this is really becoming the center point in the country and the region for the AVGC industry. And there's a lot more to do in this area. So what we thought was that we wanted to showcase and build a greater awareness amongst young people, their parents, students, professionals, including in allied sectors, that can actually embrace this new merger between the technology industry and the creative industry, which is what we're all about. Very briefly, the highlights of what we are doing in Mysore on the 6th and 7th of December, which is when Abay Fest takes place, is to showcase the best of the best from Hollywood. We have Ron Diamond, a member of the Academy that actually awards the Oscars every year, bringing a package of the greatest films. But more importantly, he's bringing a special Abay exclusive package called The Giant's First Steps. In this, he takes the first films made by some of the great Hollywood directors and traces their journey as to how they started from those humble beginnings and then became, the award-winning directors they are today. And that is, I think, going to provide inspiration and a roadmap for the people in Karnataka, in Bangalore and other studios to actually embrace this in a bigger way. We have Shelley Page from DreamWorks, who's worked on Shrek and Madagascar and Kung Fu Panda, and more recently Clues. She began as an artist when Jeffrey Katzenberg founded DreamWorks, and she's making something called the Eye Candy Show, which is to take short films from across the world in a more compelling manner and actually present this to you to show a different range of genres and techniques and so on. Last but not least, the most coveted festival in the world is in France. It's called Annecy. It's about 35 years old and is the place that people go to compete as students and as professionals in those two categories. We will be announcing at Abay Fest this year the format for future competition. And in years to come, this annual event will hopefully become the Asia leg of what Annecy has been doing in Europe, what Comic-Con and other festivals do in the US, and we want to make this a part of the exalted global calendar where artists and technicians from all over the world come together to show each other what they're doing and discuss the latest trends. I'd like to basically conclude by just telling you that there are 3 or 4 different things happening in the different zones. We're doing this in Mysore University because I think this is really going to reach out to the youth in Karnataka, and we're already getting people inquiring to come in from different states because we want to make this the hub. So we have an amphitheater which has 3,000 seats, and for the first time you're going to see in a big screen format animated movies that are coveted animated movies under the stars. So that's one evening engagement that will happen on both days. During the day there are 3 tracks in which again it's not about master classes, it's not about lectures, it's about showing things for people to see this for themselves. Gaming zones for the best of the video game concepts. I won't steal the thunder from them, but 4 of the top 10 games in the world have been made in Bangalore in the last 1 year. So if you come there and if you encourage people to come there, you will see how it was done and you will see how these games became the biggest entertainment products in the world. Similarly, we're going to show you directors' commentaries from how they made the best visual effects movies. So there's a lot in store. This is about creating a larger awareness, a larger platform for collaboration, and really being inspirational to people to really take the AVGC agenda in Karnataka to the next level. So Abay Fest 2013, I would very much like for Mr. Krishna to give us his thoughts and his comments and his vision for this partnership. I would like to also say that most of you know we were there for the KAVGC Summit, that we are working very closely on building the agenda for this industry and taking it to the next level. And I think you're going to hear from Mr. Krishna perhaps for the first time how he wants to make it an even bigger and bolder industry in Karnataka.
ರಾಜ್ಯ, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಹಾಗೂ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಸಮಗ್ರ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಾಗಿ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗಿ INBC24.tv.
Thank you, Viren. Friends from the press, have you ever wondered why is it that an Oscar for special effects or in the VFX category is still to come to India? And if people like Viren and his absolutely extraordinary team can create the storm in the life of Pi or the house in Skyfall. I'm sure all of you saw Skyfall. Are you aware the last scene where James Bond is attacked in the house called Skyfall? It was not a real house. It was a house Mr. Ghosh built. And it was a house built entirely on computers by a bunch of young dedicated guys in Whitefield. There's no reason why more such storms and more such houses cannot be done out of India. There are many more things he and many others in abay have done sitting here very quietly. I think now that they have walked the talk, the time has come to begin talking about it. Rather than talking and not walking the talk, we would like to first walk the talk and then talk about it. And I think what they have done is truly extraordinary. Think about it. Any movie which gets made anywhere in the world, anything to do with VFX, all the things you guys do, especially the electronic media, when you come out of here, the clips that I'm sure you'll upload it from your Obi van if you have one here in a matter of seconds. Why is it that the content creation, manipulation of that content, storage of content, distribution of content, of anything which can be reduced to a 0 and a 1 cannot be done out of Bangalore? One cannot be done out of Karnataka. Is there any reason? All this needs is brain power and connectivity and some infrastructure. And I think the good thing about this collaboration we have is that they get us the brain power, they get us the enormous creative energy in the youth of today, and we give them the infrastructure, the policy framework. You would have seen the I to the power 4 policy which we announced at BangaloreITE.biz, where number of concessions which were till now available only to the IT industry have been extended to them as well. And all this is to enable them to create wealth, create jobs, and contribute to the economic growth of Karnataka. I for one, am extremely optimistic about the fact that media as an industry, and I've been part of the media, I still continue to have one of my feet in the media. I write often, as many of you know, which is why I keep away from most of you in other times. I find no reason to believe why a lot of the work media does, the composing, the entire electronic media's content creation, generation, there's no reason why the hub for that cannot be Bangalore. We are working on a plan to develop a world-class media city, and you will hear about it soon. We are still not yet ready to announce it, but we are working to create a world-class media city, and the details of that will hopefully be out in a month or so. And as I mentioned in my, the quote which is going out for this event, have you ever wondered why is it that a Walt Disney Pictures or a Sony Pictures or a Universal or a Columbia Pictures, why should they be doing all their animation and special effects sitting in Hollywood? Is there any reason? They can do it out of virtually anywhere in the world where you can bury a piece of silicon and a piece of fiber. Anywhere. It can be Madagascar if they have the talent, a piece of fiber and a piece of silicon. So we want to capture this opportunity and move from being the IT capital of the world to also becoming the media and entertainment hub for the world. There is absolutely no reason in my mind why 5 years from today, be it a Columbia Pictures, be it Paramount, be it Yash Raj Films, be it Red Chillies of Shah Rukh, there is no reason why the VFX of it cannot be done out of Karnataka and out of Bangalore. They need an ecosystem, and we are trying to help them create that ecosystem. And I'm sure once it is done, We're already in the process of doing it. Once it is done, it will be at par, if not better than the best in the world. And the Karnataka government, especially this leadership under Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, is committed to ensuring that Bangalore moves on in the value chain from being the IT capital to becoming the innovation and the media and entertainment hub for the world. And this is not talk. Many of you like to ask about talk and walking the talk. This is about taking all those concrete steps, which the first part of it you saw in Bangalore IT is as part of the I to the Power 4 policy, about giving specific incentives which will enable this to happen. Abay Fest is the first time ever in India that you're having a festival focused on the people behind the camera. We always like to hear about all of us, see those in front of the camera. This is for the first time we are talking about people who are behind the camera. The magic that you see on our silver screens are created as much by those behind the camera as by those who are in front of the camera. And I think this is a celebration of that. And I would urge all of you to come see the festival. Please tell us how well we are doing or how badly we are. If there are things we need to do to improve upon it, please do tell us, and we'll be very happy to include that in the next edition, which will hopefully be bigger and better than this one. Thank you very much.
I'm Biren Ghosh. I'm the president of abay and the country head of Technicolor. We work on the biggest movies in animation and visual effects and computer games. And we are delighted that there is Abay Fest 2013, a partnership between abay and the Government of Karnataka, Department of IT, BT and SMT. The KAVGC policy last year has given us a tremendous platform for building the partnership between the government, industry and the educational institutions. We are taking this partnership to a huge festival which has never happened in the country before. It's exclusively for animation movies, exclusively for visual effects movies, and the big computer games that not everybody has a chance to play. So in Mysore, for 2 whole days and in the evening, we're going to have the pleasure of presenting all of this to the thousands of people that come in to soak in the atmosphere of creative digital content. Bangalore and Karnataka are the right place for this to happen, because what we see as the immense possibility in front of us is that we can become not only the largest location in the country, but the largest location in the region that will be working for both the Hollywood industry as well as for the local market. So we would like to welcome all of you to Mysore on the 6th and 7th of December. Come join us.